Louis Guidetti says. Test.
Xerx. Test on that. Okay, 1 second. Need to get Stream Ninja up on this. Boom. Should get that. Test. Test again.
Louis Guidetti says. Test.
There it is, Xerx. Now on YouTube, you should be able to hear it. I think you should hear it now. Still working out the quirks, just like in Arena. I need to get more sleep than I'm getting. I'm losing it. It's because I'm getting I'm doing that thing where I go to sleep, we get off late, and then I'm like, well, I have to take care of my dad, so I just stay up until that point, and so I'm not getting sleep, and it's driving me crazy. Same problem I did before. I'm having to relearn that lesson. So I fucking lost it.
Oscilla says. Paint me like one of your French girls.
Okay. Okay. Say it twice. Oh, it's because what do I have on? I got my stream on so I can hear it, which I should probably, there we go. Shut that off. There we go. It won't go through the earbuds twice. Actually, I don't think y'all could hear that on Twitch, which that's where you are. Twitch. Zerx, I think, is on YouTube right now. But the chat should be showing up. Yes, it is. The chat is showing up on the stream so everybody can see it. Nobody is out of the loop. This is a request from Discord. Somebody wanted some how to block in the bar drawings. So it's good practice for me. I do need to be practicing stuff
Oscilla
like this.
says. Did you log in and get your remix achievement?
No,
Future Oil Painter says. Sweet Raphael's Angels.
but for Sweet Raphael's Angels. Is there an achievement? Is there really? I think we can still log in. I think it goes until the 19th or something.
Oscilla says.
Did you get it?
Yep.
Okay, I will remember to do that. Oh, coquette. I really wish there was another game that was good. I really do. I do.
Oscilla says. We got beat by RR last night, did you hear?
No. No. Who, Cian did? Tell me the details, girl. What happened? What happened?
Oscilla says. We got whooped.
Really? What were the numbers? Who was
Oscilla
playing?
says. Decimated in the team fight.
Who was in Cian?
Future Oil Painter says. Is the guy who asked about Bargue here right now?
I don't think so, but it's okay because he can always watch this like
Oscilla says. I
outside.
posted end screenshots in CN, PvP.
Was Oka in the game? Or was it Cry? Who was leading?
Oscilla says. Yes.
Oka was in there? Ooh. Ooh. Was he upset? Da, da, da. Right, so at this point, we just
Oscilla
continuously
says.
work the lines.
Probably, but there were no meltdowns.
Well, that's always a good thing. Actually, it's not a good thing. I thrive off meltdowns. In fact, I had one last night myself. Um, was Deacon or Toothless
Grasshopper
in the game?
70 says, that is a good thing.
That is a good thing. Good, Grasshopper. I like that. That's good. At this point, resharpen this, and we just work the lines out
Grasshopper
and
70 says,
lightly correct
Diak
it.
and RB have been. Future Oil Painter says, it's cool, I know we all got busy lives, but Sir Pierced he's now jumping on this. Oscilla says, I don't think so, Trippa was though.
Stripper, gotcha.
Grasshopper 70 says, D and RB have been stepping back.
Good, they need to. Actually, they need to, but I don't want them to. They're too much fun to mess with because they're retarded. Um, no, but for chair, it's good. He's doing you and he are in the same boat. Um, because like he's trying to learn how to block in and he's going about the right way. And so he's asking, he really wants to get this right, which is so much better than somebody who just pumps out a lot of work and just, doesn't work on the foundation. And so this is going to be extremely beneficial for him and whoever else watches it, potentially. You know, I probably should be narrating this a little bit more than I am, but let's see how that looks on the stream. It looks okay. Um, No, it doesn't bother me at all. In fact, I even told him, I said, if you can't get the stream, because I stream in the middle of the day, and I mean, I can't watch streams in the middle of the day. I can listen to them while I paint, but it's hard for people who work. Most people can't, and they watch the reruns later, which is why I do it. Um, so, like, because I kind of want people to ask. It helps me to know exactly like what people want as well. Um,
Future Oil Painter
yeah.
says, it's cool, always good to
Yeah,
see.
it's good to see. Um, but yeah, to articulate this, um, essentially, obviously getting the proportions started out trying to get the main block in of where the basic points were. And I didn't draw unnecessary lines because these are just line drawings. And so there's not going to be a lot of shadow shape here. So you don't want to necessarily draw the eye socket if it's not there, even if it's anatomical, because you're going outside the light impression. And the key in drawing is you always want to ballpark the light impression so that your mind's not making up stuff for it to relate to what you're looking at. You want it to be as close as possible and you're going to get it quicker. So you draw the lines within like a 90-degree or 90% ballpark of it. Meaning if you draw a line here to here, that's like, you know, 70, 80, 90%, whatever. It's going in the direction of that. That does exist, 1, 2, and you don't need to like draw the line all the way through, but you tap 1, 2, and just get all these points in. And then start laying the points, and then you continue, like once you get them in the ballpark, you break those lines down, and then you try to keep it simple, but then those base lines is best if you get these points correct, but I didn't. I kind of corrected them as I went, and now I'm looking at these big shapes like this shape right here, the light shapes in between and stuff, just the overall impression, trying to like this point to this point where it crosses through here, which this actually is not relating yet because I've been kind of shifting this line. Looking at this point right here, which if you look at mine's a little bit flat compared to the reality. So I need to see if this comes in, but if this comes in, is this going to be correct? And so there's a lot of things that need to shift. This is looking a little bit like this line needs to come in that way some because this is not long enough. So these are the corrections that we're doing while trying to keep the line quality solid, which to do that you do sweeping lines and just control your hand, get the fluidity of your hand in there and try not to like, twitch or whatever while you do it. So a lot of dexterity, building that up and trying to get the lines. Big sweeping lines will create better angles and better points because they cross through lines, and that creates a sharper point that you can judge off of. So it's actually a lot that you're doing, even though it's a simple drawing. There's a lot of things that you're going into it with this. So I'm not just trying to make it look good. I mean, I am trying to keep the line quality, but we're trying to correct the proportions on a on a smaller level at this point. So, and again, I can bring this in some, but then is this shape going to be too small? The answer is yes, which means
KillerPod
this is probably in the
5042
wrong place.
says, "Hi Lewis, the first want to thank you for last night. You were great."
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You got to put up with this again. So I am so much smarter than you and Gears put together. I don't know.
Futury Oil Painter says, "Too much information LOL."
So now I'm on Twitch and I'm getting a little bit afraid to say certain things that YouTube wouldn't care about. Because I saw Zico get banned for something that I almost said just now. The Twitch doesn't have it together, man. That's the thing. It's like
Oscilla says,
set these streams up.
"When you have a minute." G.E. Whitman says, "That reminds me of a problem I have. When two parts are drawn wrong for me, sometimes I fix one part and it makes me think the whole thing is correct, but I never catch the second mistake until I'm far along."
Yeah, and that's why
Oscilla
I'm saying
says, "Go look at the screenshots and heap scorn on all of us."
Okay, I'll definitely do that. I'm gonna go in and troll y'all pretty hard after this. I always need something to keep me entertained. Whitman, that is like, and that's the thing is having foresight in your drawing. And so these drawings, like the more you do, when you make those mistakes, you're like, okay, and you'll keep on making the mistakes, and then you'll get pissed off that you're making the mistakes, but eventually you'll start catching the mistakes. You kind of start seeing them coming, right? So like you're talking about, you're already seeing it through the experience that you've got.
Futury Oil Painter says, "Would like to see the eyes of a baby vs the eyes of a grown person."
So like I'm sculpting the lines with eraser as well, and then going and trying to sweep those lines, right? Make sweeping lines. And sometimes you go in, you kind of fill in little areas there, but you know.
Futury Oil Painter says, "Think baby eyes are bigger."
Compared to I actually don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Oh, here's another thing. This thing I think
KillerPod
actually comes up some,
5042 says,
and then that
"Lewis
probably.
has a baby arm." Almond the Painter says, "For an intermediate, would you say that it is more important to crank out more drawings/paintings or aim for fewer pieces but better quality? Reason for asking is that I see opposing views."
You're going to get quicker if you take your time and learn these things, if you slow yourself down. Because what you're doing, you're rooting out bad habits. And you need to slow yourself down and see what you're doing and really focus and push yourself. And so when you do that, you'll find that eventually, as long as you're practicing quite a bit, it takes a lot of practice, that you speed these things up. Because look at this. This right here, it's not that this is like totally accurate yet, but like a beginner can't get this that quick. So what you're going to find is that you're going to speed up later. Now, if you want to supplement it with like gesture drawings, like, on the side or something to loosen it up, fine. But you have to be doing it in like a healthy workflow with yourself. Beginners should slow themselves down. I don't think people have a really hard time in creating a lot of drawings at first. You can go and create 5 drawings, but if it's all shit and you're not slowing down to see what you're doing, you're not building um, the patience up, you're going to miss so many lessons in there. So I think you should slow down, and eventually you'll start going much quicker and being able to go further with each piece. All right. Then it's going to get, and it takes a couple of years. It's just how it is. Um, but um, but eventually you'll start going quicker with it. So I would definitely have like a piece that you work on every day for like at least 3 hours. And then if you want, outside of that, you can just practice quick gesture drawings or maybe have a side project where you do a quicker drawing or something. That's fine. Like you can mix it up. Does that make sense? Now, if you're talking about um, like graphic design and how they can do those quick drawings and stuff, um, I'm not educated in that and I can't say. So I think is something to it, but in terms of like this type of work, it might feel good and you're not going to catch the mistakes as a beginner as quickly. It might feel good to go fast, but you're not doing yourself any favors with this specifically. But the fluidity, see, I'm not rushing this. That whatever fluidity you see is because I just have a lot of experience
Almond the
doing it.
painter says. Grazie signore.
Prego, niente. Like, I mean, look, I'm taking my time with this and I'm getting benefit out of it, right? I'm getting a lot of benefit out of this right now. Now, what am I focusing on right now? Right now, I'm trying to see the light shape here and see this negative
KillerPod
shape here.
5042 says. Lewis, you're the best, most amazing person
I
with a
know.
big brain, plus you World of Warcraft skills are so
Yes.
great. Hope you have good day.
Thank you, Oka. I appreciate that. The latter part I would question you about if my performance last night was anything to go off of, but thank you. So I'm doing this. It looks like I'm trying to like make it look pretty. Um, that's not the primary concern. The primary thing is I'm trying to get the light shapes correct and really looking at like I'm trying to see the length of these lines and the direction they're going at the same time. And right now, this line right here seems to be going out a little bit more, and this one's going out at that. They should be slightly closer together. And this is just very general and messed up in here. Coming like that, and I need to clean that part up. And that's way too long. That's what she said. Now it's too short. That's not what she said. Right. But like taking my time, I'm learning to control the lines and get the technique proper. There is something to say like, and look, in work, you can definitely overwork a drawing, and I recommend everybody do it so you know what
Another
that
person
is.
in line E8G says. Hello, home
Bucket for
skillets.
chair, you know? You have to overwork things
Another
to.
person in line E8G says. On YouTube land.
Butt for chair, they can also see it in the chat. I have it up on screen. See? You can actually see it on screen now. Pretty sure, right? It is coming up on stream. It is coming up on stream, right? I might not look it up. Y'all see it
Ryder
on
Williams 625 says.
so many eyes.
So many eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. So many
Another
eyes.
person in line E8G says. Nice.
But I mean, notice how I'm holding the pencil, right? And like, I'm really trying to push this. I'm really trying to push the line some. And you keep it here. And so it's like, oh, well, he's spending too much time. You should get it quicker. Fine. I mean, but working on it and really forcing yourself to like oversee it, look at everything, really keep on double, triple, quadruple checking it. You're getting stuff out of this. Like, this is the point of these exercises. It's not just to get it done. Now, the more you do, the quicker you get. Again, right? The more you do, the quicker you're gonna get with this stuff. But these bar drawings are meant to be training grounds to like get yourself better at seeing proportions, right?
Ryden William 625 says. Why do so many Bargue drawings? What is purpose? How do I apply to drawings outside of sight size style?
That is an excellent question. And in fact, that's what I'm saying right now is that these drawings are meant to train your eye in proportion, the developmental process, how to simplify things that are complex. Now, these eyes are a very basic drawing. They're like, very simple. So it's like this is the very first plate in bar drawings. It's plate number 1. So you're going through the very basic fundamentals. So say, let's tie that to real life. In the bar drawings, like we start, and I'm going to go and do another eye. I'm not just going to work on the same eye, but like you start just marking the basic points, get this line, get these lines, but you're having to see angles, distances, relate those angles to each other and see the whole thing all at once. Even that's all within this, and it's a simple thing. Now, if you can simplify in your brain something that's very complex, the human figure, you're going to have a better chance of drawing that because that understanding is going to be projected into your drawing. So when you have a figure standing, right, like this, a lot of people go and start like modeling and this and that, and by the end, everything's all broken up and disjointed. It just doesn't make sense.
G.E. Whitman says. Do you think it's beneficial to eventually do Bargue drawings by memory? Or is it observational only?
I think that's extremely beneficial. I think it would be, in fact, they had us do that for pair drawings. That's as long as you're going along with the process and really you have a direction and that direction is a solid direction, memory drawing is excellent. Now, bar drawing, this specifically when you're keeping it basic, it's teaching you how to observe. And so like when you have a full figure, you mark the bottom, you mark the top, the crotch right here, and then you start blocking in with basic lines so that, because the other thing is figures, if it's, like out in real life or if it's a like live model, they're going to be moving some, especially their arms, which is good because sometimes like when you, like with anybody, they kind of sink into the pose as they go. And the longer the pose, the more options you have of subtle gestures. And sometimes that just makes the drawing. So you have to know how to get something quick, say it's in the position only, and it's only going to be there for like a minute or 30 seconds. You have to know how to block something in quickly. So you need to know how to simplify that. It wouldn't help to go through and draw all these muscles in because you're going to get that wrong. You need to get those basic points, relate them all to each other, and do it accurately. And that's what we're teaching you here in bar drawing. Now, I hate bar drawing. I find it boring. People are like, it's a copy of a copy. Missing the point. It is a flat drawing, you're copying it, and life is always better. You're supposed to be applying these basic techniques into life drawing, but it's easier to go off of 2D instead of translating from 3D to 2D. So you're learning the basic lessons at the very foundation.
Ryden William 625
right?
says. Makes sense. It's
Exactly.
like training or working out.
Exactly. You got it. And that was an excellent question because this stuff is boring. You're like, well, I'm not going to be, this isn't how you do the drawing. It's the process. Right now, I am still trying to look. So I have it on my iPad and I know I'm wrong. So I have it on the iPad like that. Actually, so one thing you can do, which I haven't been doing, is taking a plumb line. Plumb line. These are extremely sophisticated. I still don't know how these are made. I bought one for a lot of money a lot of money, and this is what it is. They're extremely complex tools. I try to reverse engineer this, but it's too much. Anyway, plumb line, you can take this and you can measure point to point like that and go over. I'm scared to touch the iPad. And oop, dude, I am right on it. And I'm not just saying that. That distance was perfect. Yes. Do that stuff. So there's ways that you can measure. Now, the trained eye is always more accurate than this because if you're looking at this right here, there's always a little bit of, you can't tell there, but there's always a little bit of movement that's subtle. And sometimes when I look at drawings, I'm like, that seems a little bit off. And it's just like you're touching it a little bit and it makes it look better. That's after a while, your eye becomes sharper than this tool. But this is the ballpark. You get in the ballpark. And sometimes I'm off with it. But now, so what are we doing here? Look at this. I'm going to relate this to painting. Okay.
Ryden
This isn't
Williams
there. That's what I was using.
625 says, are you familiar with Really method for figure and portrait?
Don't
Does
think so.
Bargue pathway limit you to the Pearly visual style? Basically, does Bargue style clash with Really style?
I don't know the really style. I don't know. Is that kind of like something like more sculptural or something? Or sometimes I hear this because there's been some misconceptions about stuff. Maybe I should look it up really quick. I probably did know what that was. Anyway, like right here, you could look at this shape right here, see these shapes, see this, like this shape, try to relate this shape to this
Another
shape,
person in line
this shape to
E8G
this
says,
shape.
one thing also, is the Bargue has to be perpendicular and people should step
Side by
back.
side. Yeah, and step back and look at it, flash your eyes back and forth. Like ideally, see, I have my iPad here. What I should have done, which I didn't want to do because I was like lazy, which I should have done. In fact, I probably have these eyes over there. Print out the sheet, put the sheet there, and just have it side by side so y'all can see it. And essentially, you're taking that and bringing it over, like directly over. And the reason why that's important is because in sight size, let's see, can y'all see that board? Yeah, this. So like normally we have a model back there, put the drawing here, and then I would see the model about that big. And then I would mark bottom top and then do the drawing and do it sight size, right? Oh, here's another thing. This is the thing. So a lot of people are like, oh, you're just copying, copying, copying. We are copying this. But the end goal is to, you want to get form and anatomy and make it look sculptural, that understanding, three-dimensional understanding, which is why lots of um, figure references, but also live model drawings are important. You don't want your drawing to look flat, and we're not trying, the end goal, the end game is not to copy. It's to, I mean, it's not simply to copy brainlessly, let's put it that way. You're supposed to truly understand what you're doing and really accentuate what you want without, you can slightly exaggerate later, that's artistic, but with this as a student, you do not want to be artistic about it. This is cold, this is not art. This is like cold study. But you need to know how to turn the form and understand the lines and what they're doing, and that should produce the effect of it being sculptural, right? Having form on it. And you can use sight size to do that. Sight size is this, and this is sight size, by the way, drawing the size you see it.
Ryden Williams 625 says, like metronome practice. Ryden Williams 625 says, for music.
Interesting. I'll have to look that up. I'll have to look that up. What was I using? Was I using it? I was using a 2B, I think, so that this could be seen on here. Okay, so this line is poorly drawn. And so you take note of your weaknesses and, you know, try to fix them. I'm looking at this negative shape here is incorrect. This is still freaking wrong. That's coming up too high. This needs to come in some. That, but not that much, just a little bit. And the reason why I say that is because this can't get any smaller than it is. fact, I made it too small. I'm going to bring that back out. I think, and oh, when you have to work on something like this too, you have to make sure the line is light enough that it doesn't scar the paper. So these are techniques that when you work on drawings for a long period of time, you have to develop this stuff, right? And again, you do get quicker with it. I'm going to bring that out just a little bit. Just like going over the lines just makes it look so freaking different.
Ryden Williams 625 says,
That comes down
why do
some.
you not have a cross line like the reference?
Because whoever drew this is an amateur and I'm so superior. And also I forgot to do it. So those cross lines, those are good. It's like plumb lines. You have the vertical, horizontal one. And those are strategic because if you look on the drawing, they're going through specific points, like, you know, of the eye. For example, the cross line is going through, and look, this is perfect right here. Wait a second, but the cross line is curved up, man. Oh, because the paper. Oh, I see what happened. Okay, so, but still, mine's off. Do you see this? The
Another
cross
person in
line's
line
doing
E8G
this,
says,
but on the
it
thing it's
helps me
going
to
up.
draw
This
one
needs to
line
drop
down the
down.
middle, but lately I don't have to do that anymore. Over the year I've been doing this, my eye is catching things
Without
without
thinking.
thinking.
Yeah. Yep. Now, it might say, oh, does this need to go down? And it does. That goes down a little bit, but this also, I think, comes up some because this is too thick. Just like Jeff's mom's cankles. It's not even funny. This is correct. And then let's just go over this. So again, like, I does this look like it? Yeah, it does. But like, we're really trying to work our weaknesses out here, right? Like, this helps me to do this stuff. It really does. Now, this piece right here, it just comes up a little bit, which what that's going to do is going to make this piece bigger, which is what it needed to do, is going to bring this piece up, and then I'll drop this piece down, which that line, that cross line that Ryden you asked about is going through, but on my drawing, which I think is the same one, because it's the page right there, so it was slightly turning, so that line is curved. In other words, this right here is a little distorted, but it doesn't matter because we're getting the same value out of it. So I'm going to bring this down just a little bit, and then I'm going to really what happened, and they would make us do this too, like really draw exactly what that line was. And like in real life, you wouldn't, oh, look how I curved that. See, that's not good. Wait a second, that's kind of is curved though. It is something like that. Okay. But it's not as accented as I did. Let's take that down some. So like, I remember just like working the edges, working the edges, working the edges all the time like this. And I remember thinking, man, this is really like over the top. But it really, especially as a beginner, you don't know how bad you are at drawing. It looks different to you as a beginner. And people who come and critique, it's just like you can go to somebody else's drawing and look and be like, ooh, I see this is off, this is off, this is off, because you have that fresh eye. Now, if you have a professional come and look at it, they're going to see even more. And that's kind of what it is. So this forces you to really, it forces you to a different level, which is what we're going for. It's practice. This stuff is like, if you want to get good, take this method. Now, you could draw these drawings all day long, but if you do them the wrong way, it's not going to benefit you. And you could get bad habits with them, right? I brought that up
Ryden
just like a
Williams
little bit.
625 says, what is general timeline for beginner drawing beginner Bargue to doing a
Good
convincing
question.
portrait / figure oil painting? Just from your experience, what is a rough estimate?
5 weeks, and you're not going to do it right if you're trying to do it right. Let me show you something. Well, Twitch will ban me if I do. Um, we used to spend 5 weeks, 3 hours every day, Monday through Friday, on first charcoal figure drawings, right? And you're doing the same stuff with this, but you're trying to get the push the values, lights and darks, because you have to know lights and darks. You have to know how to juggle your lights and darks in painting, and then in paint you have to add color to it. So even in the drawing, 5 week studies, I would never finish, ever. Nobody would ever finish. And it looks stiff, it doesn't look good.
G.E. Whitman says, please show what Twitch will ban you for, please.
I'm not going through that again. I already, look, y'all know I got banned from Twitch. They said indefinitely suspended. And then they denied my appeal, and it was because they thought that I drew a nipple on a chick. It was actually the shadow shape underneath. I didn't even like detail the nipple. They didn't even know what it was. Probably says something about my work, but still. And they have those hot tub chicks on there, and that's fine. But this stuff, and we were literally having a conversation like this, like talking about art. It was crazy. I'm not going to show you all this stuff because I'm not going to go through it. I just spent all this time setting this thing up. Stream.
Future Oil Painter says, add time.
Then switch to YouTube
Future
because
Oil
YouTube
Painter
doesn't
says,
have it.
back.
That was quick. All right. Anyway, so I could keep on going with this because this is not as accurate as I would like it to be, but I'm going to go to the next drawing. Okay. We'll go to the next drawing. So when I'm doing this, I'm trying to see this shape right here, see this line compared to this line. And then this line compared to this, which is kind of coming out more like that. No, it's not. I mean, you're just trying to be as picky as you possibly can. And it really does help having somebody who can critique you, right? But not everybody can have that. All right. We're just going to keep it there for now. That's fine. It's not great. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to the one to the right, which y'all can see. Y'all can see it.
Ryden Williams 625 says, it's so hard learning art by myself without a teacher.
It is hard. It's very hard. Yeah, it is. You need to have somebody guiding you. And, you know, I do wish that I could help people more than I'm able to right now. Like, there's only so much that I can do. Because my goal in doing this is to kind of provide y'all with the training that we got at the Florence Academy without going to the Florence Academy, right? That's kind of the goal and what I would be trying to do. And you know, I can't do that fully. I can give you a taste of it, and I can still guide y'all, but you're absolutely right. It is extremely difficult to learn this stuff on your own. You kind of have to be guided. Um, and but it is possible because let me say this. Like this stream, y'all are watching me actually do this up close, and this is what I valued most with my teachers, at watching them draw. And I didn't get to watch them draw as much as I would have liked because they were normally critiquing us and critiquing the drawings. The downside is I can't go and critique drawings accurately because, you know, photos are distorted, so I can't judge the angles off it. I can see the big things and say, hey, look at this, hey, look at that, and it might help. But it gets to a point where it's like subtlety and stuff. It's always best in person. But the advantage is like this essentially streaming takes y'all into my work. And so, you know, if I'm able to, I like to stream and stuff. So I'm going to the next drawing, which is more straight on eye. And so the idea here is let's go and just kind of get the width of everything with one. And we're going to say, okay, from the left side, our left side of the eyebrow to the right side, how wide and at what angle is it? Well, the left side's a little bit lower than the right, which goes up some. How wide? I'm going to say somewhere around here. And we put these points in, and then it's probably off, and I'll have to, like, correct it, constantly correct it. But this is kind of how I go about things. I don't always draw things in like straight up right away. You don't need to like always put lines. Um, I try my best to, draw the points out and shift those points. So this line is a little bit too long, so that might be too long. Oh, that was too short, so that comes up there. So something like that. Something like this. Um, that's probably not correct. So I'm keeping it light. Notice how we're going all around this thing. So I'm going to go and say this point, and I'm going to plumb line down to the very bottom, which plumb line down, but it's going to be over this way. How far down? It's going to be about right
Ryden
here-ish.
Williams 625
Ooh,
says,
shakalaka.
do you always use an easel to draw? Easels seem big, clunky, and expensive. What is an alternative?
Well, I mean, I would save up for an easel, and I would get an easel with a mast. This is the mast. The mast is the wooden bar that's vertical. Uh, Sometimes they're attached to the actual tray and they move up with the tray, and so like it goes through the ceiling if you go up. Get one where the tray slides along the mast, and just save up, like save your money. They're not that expensive for what you're going to use this. Like, for example, I've had this for like 20 years and it cost maybe like $200. So $200 over 20 years is nothing. But alternative, you could Cesar Santos, who I love that guy. Actually, he has a setup on his wall. He uses his wall. It's amazing. I don't know. I'd have to take a look at what he's done. You should check his channel out because you could use your wall for it. But easels are better, man. I'd just get an easel. Get a nice easel. Save your money up. Get one. Because if you're serious and if you're gonna be drawing 3 hours a day, I mean,
Future Oil Painter says, $200, that's a lot of Dungeons and Dragons
it's
MOA.
probably more than 200. It could be like 300. I don't know. I'd have to take a look, and it's hard to find them. But well, it's not hard to
Shurikitten
find them.
says, things are working good today.
Yeah, they are. It's smooth. Hey, this is the third stream. It's not bad for the third stream for doing this type of stuff, huh? All right, so we're gonna go from this point down, and that's gonna be a little bit further than that. So we're ballparking it, right? So we're constantly just checking these points off each other. So this down to here, this. So the thing is, I'm checking multiple points off of points, right?
G.E. Whitman says, I'm currently drawing with paper on my lap, cursed setup.
Yeah, don't do
Future
that,
Oil
man.
Painter
It's
says,
not good. You got to
on
get
eBay
smarter
or
than that.
Facebook Marketplace, you can find a good used one.
There you go. Just you want a good one. I like it's worth if you're going to be doing this, you want to get good materials. Now, it's different for like painting. At first, you don't need to get the most expensive paint to paint. But an easel is a solid investment. You want to get good, trust me, do not get the ones that I got back there. Don't get those. Those are shitty easels that you save a couple bucks for, like $100, but you're fighting them the whole step of the way and you're pissed. It's dumb. Learn my lesson, hopefully. Bring this down some. All right, so I'm keeping this light. Y'all see how I'm going about this, right? And just constantly checking these points off each other. So like just going off these
Shurikitten
points
says,
here.
do not get the easels that pith you off.
Damn right. That's right. That's what we're talking about. You don't want to get those. What was that? Okay, so we're kind of going through, and I'm just sketching these. Now, here's the thing. You want to work strategically. I'm thinking to myself, okay, like you put the information in here, it's going to change how this looks, but we need to make sure the shape is good. I could
Shurikitten
go and
says,
add this in.
what is the brand of the bad easel?
Um, I could add this stuff in right here, but I want to train myself to see this big shape better. It's just like training yourself to see the bare bones of the figure. The less you can put in accurately, the better off you're going to be because you'll be able to get things quicker. You'll have a better foundation to build upon. The brand of easel, it doesn't even say. I don't know. But my easel video, I did an easel video and I literally said not to get these. The back of them I put an eye bolt on, which is like I had to drill into the back and then put a bolt in that tightens and it presses in because otherwise it would
Future Oil
wobble. I
Painter
mean, I had to
says,
do all
for
this work.
everyone reference, I think Lewis has a YouTube episode on easel.
Yeah, I do. I do. But I think the links might be a little bit off now. I think they might have changed them up or something. They used to be correct.
Future
Anyway,
Oil Painter says, you need a sturdy H-frame, right, Lewis?
yeah, it's an H frame easel. H, look down, it looks like an H. This point here, this point, this needs to come over this way some.
Ryden Williams 625 says, so you start with the perimeter shape on the Bargue drawings. Do you start all other drawings / paintings with this perimeter thing?
I think maybe. Like I'll mark the inside information and I'm just trying to like um I'm trying to go about it the way a beginner should look at this at first to build a proper foundation because after a while you start compressing these stages. Like I don't always draw with these basic straight lines. Like with figures, like if I'm drawing a leg or something, um, say there's one over there. So like the back of a leg here is kind of coming down and then the calf is here, it's coming out like that. You have the knee. Yeah, y'all can see this. Okay, so the calf would be coming out like one. That's the knee right there. Two. So like I kind of I sometimes like I'm drawing kind of like
Shurikitten
this type of
says,
stuff here going down
the
like that.
lessons section on Discord works.
Like
The
I
links are
compress the
accurate.
steps. The links are accurate. Okay, I compress a lot of the steps. But if I'm having a hard time with something, I'll go back to this. But the thing is that I'm looking at these shapes right here. Right now, I'm drawing out these shapes. When you draw it out, it's forcing yourself to see and understand them. After a while, you'll be able to see them, understand them without necessarily drawing them out. You'll be able to start just drawing. That's down the road, but it does happen to bigger and lesser degrees, right? Sometimes like I do a combination of a block in and then like I might develop something a little bit more depending. But um, you know, the ideas, everything are there. Like or the theory. All right. I am drawing so that I can erase this. See this line to this line.
Ryden
See
Williams
this point to this
625
point.
says, thank you, Lewis, for information.
Anytime,
I
man.
gotta leave, but I'm a bit more inspired to start some Bargus. Thanks.
Good man. Good man. You can always catch this. I'm on Twitch and YouTube, and I leave this stuff up on YouTube. Twitch it flushes out after a while, but you have very good questions. I appreciate them. That's good. They're good questions. You know, this comes down some.
Shurikitten says, cam needs to go up slightly.
Oh, it does. Yeah, you're right. It does. We'll do the crotch shot right there. How's that? Is that better? We need the butt cam.
Shurikitten says. Way better XD.
There you go. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. See, this is off. That point here. It's about there. I feel like it might be a little bit long. That's about there. And that's going to come in some. Fix this.
Shurikitten says. It's still low. Future Oil Painter says.
Wait.
Lewis, you're losing too much weight. Better eat more of those giant Florence sandwiches.
Yeah, people have been saying I need to gain weight. Is this better? I don't know how to do this.
Shurikitten says. The canvas one, not the UCAM LOL. Future Oil Painter says. Yup.
Is that better right there?
Shurikitten says. But if you want to show butt cam, no one will object, I'm sure.
Try that.
Shurikitten says. Up more.
Wait, what do you want up more? You want... Wait. You want... the canvas one. You want this up?
Shurikitten says. The top of the eye is cut off that you're working on.
Really? How's it cut off? This doesn't make any sense to me.
Shurikitten says. Yes.
One second, let me check and see what YouTube's doing, because on OBS it says that is like full, it's right there. I don't understand how it's cut off. Let me see what y'all see.
Shurikitten says. Oh, Twitch has a different cut off than YouTube, yes.
Okay, let me check Twitch.
Shurikitten says. YouTube has it cut off slightly. Twitch has it fully in frame.
Shitting me,
Shurikitten says. Weird, I didn't know they were different framing.
it's not cut off though. This is like this eye right here. This, I'm only doing one eye. Like this is the drawing right here, and the right here is like, I know this is It's not cut off. I don't know what you're talking about. On YouTube and Twitch, it's fine. Both of them. For me. Now, if you're looking on the phone, maybe it's different. Is it different on the phone?
Shurikitten says. Oh, it's my bad, Chrome wasn't letting it scroll up.
There you go. That's it.
Shurikitten says. You're good.
Good. Excellent. Okay. Because, yeah, OBS said it was like, I was like fully in frame. It wasn't even close. So that's why I was like, I was wondering if there's something else going on. Okay. So, but thanks for letting me know. It's good that you like give me a heads up with that stuff. Okay. So I'm looking at this point to this point where this piece is going to go, like
Shurikitten
what angle
says.
this is going.
Yeah, probably an ad got in the way.
Yeah. That's kind of coming across. So I want to see this to this point there, which is ballpark. I don't know how accurate that is yet. This point, it breaks about right there. And then this piece is coming down, this point to, so they have this line going like straight through. And like you could do that. You could have a horizontal line going through in this. Um, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, like if you're doing this, you want to have those lines. As a beginner, I would definitely put those lines and use a ruler for it. Do it very lightly though. And then you can see where those lines cross through the eye and line the eye up with that. So essentially it would have like this point crossing through the bottom of this point right here. So this should be ballpark. And I go here, and I also want to see this is a shape right here, right? One, and then this point to here, this would be coming out just a little bit. It would be kind of coming up at an angle like this. Smooth lines, and we can cross through, so we create those angles a little bit better, and we can always do this. Boom. Oh, but there's the cross through. What do we do? Idiot. You take your eraser like this, gummy eraser. We just ever so slightly sculpt. Sculpted is the word of the day. Boom. We get solid lines that way. So, fluidity of the lines. Now, how's this help? Those lines, you know how to block in a figure, get those lines. You're going to get the angles better. It's going to be more clear. Get the proportions quicker. You're going to have those points more solidly formed to judge other points off of if you get the fluidity of hand going and sweep through. So technique is important, not just to make it look good, but so that it sets up a solid template for you to judge the proportions with, right? That's the idea. So at this point, I'm looking at this piece right here, and there's a little bit more of a sag with this, and this is mine's a little bit too rounded, this piece. And so I'm going to try to draw this in context with this line and this line of what I have here, right? That's what I'm going to try to do. And if I want to, I can go from this point, just to add, if you want to, you can just add kind of the bottom eyelid in. So from here, so how low down it is, and compare it to roughly with this point. But really, we're going off this more and say, okay, it's going to be somewhere around here, somewhere around there. And you can just mark it as a reference, and that can move later, but it's just like giving us a ballpark. So what that says to me essentially is that this right here, this distance, this isn't quite accurate. Like this probably comes up some because this distance is too short, right? So that would probably come up just a little bit. So something like that. Now let's get a little bit more form in here. How do we do that? It's too general. It looks too rounded, right? It could be accurate, but it's a little bit too rounded. Well, let's continuously judge off these points we have here. So this point down here to here, that seems about right. I'm just going to kind of re-block that line in just a little bit. this piece that goes through, and then this point right here, I'm just going to lightly, and the thing is, there's a habit to, like, when you're drawing into a dark line, to make the line even darker. That's when you start scarring the paper, and that's when you can't move the drawing. So you want to go very softly into it and never press beyond a certain pressure. And you have to keep track of that line, but then you immediately go in, like you see me doing this. It's a constant back and forth between the eraser and the pencil. Right? That's when we go and we kind of sculpt it out with the eraser a little bit. And with the eraser, we're drawing with eraser. That's the mentality you have to have. Think about this like that. You're drawing with eraser. Something like that. Right? Something like that. All right. Now, let's continuously correct this, okay? Let's just make sure this is correct. At this point, we're having to kind of take into account line thickness as well. So there's like kind of a little bit thicker of a line up top here. Pencil needs a little bit of sharpening, so I'm going to do that. This is how we go about it, guys. I mean, pretty dull. But the lessons are all there. They're all there, man. You do this stuff will make you dangerous in drawing and painting if you can get this. In painting, notice I did say painting. That was not a slip. Son of a bitch. That was not a slip. Painting, this stuff helps, man. You have to know where to put that brush stroke. This right here isn't working. This is too thin. That light shape's too small. Does that need to come up? Or does this need to go down? That is the question. So if I'm looking at this as a whole, this angle right here drops some, which means this angle is going to drop some as well. Just a little bit. And again, I didn't go too dark with it. Shape that, and we try to carry it through to keep those sharp angles. There you go. That's a subtle change, but this is what we're learning. How's this going to benefit you at the very end of the painting? You get those small subtle angles. You have to be able to see them first, and then you subtly fix them. Most people will look at you and be like, oh, you're just nitpicking with it. But then it comes out looking good, right? Especially in the face, subtlety with the eyes, the mouth, totally change the expression of the face. We're learning that here. The very plate number 1 in Bargue. I'm actually going to bring this up just a little bit, just to make some space for this. 1, 2. But when we do that, we have to keep track of the entire piece, like what's going on with it. All right, so this part is pretty thick there. I won't say it. Then I'm going to do that little thing there just to get an impression. There was see, I'm drawing with eraser with this stuff. And of course, you want to try to get it the best you can with the pencil, but
Future oil painter says. Heads up, Vincent van Gogh is rumored to have drawn all the Bargues.
But when you're forcing yourself to see all this subtle information and you're hatching out with eraser, you're still getting everything out of it. You're getting your proportion vitamins for the day, right? So you just don't want to go too dark with this. That's it. So is that width correct? It's ballpark. And then from this point to here, this kind of comes here, and that is more or less more accurate. Step back, look at the whole thing all at once. And then you just, oftentimes, I remember one of my critiques, it was such a good piece of advice. It was like Mark DeLessio. He's a very good artist, actually here in North Carolina. Was it Mark DeLessio? I'm thinking of, I might be mixing the names up. Anyway, he said, like when you're drawing, it's not always like you're up there drawing, but like this is considered drawing, sitting back here and like really working it out, because sometimes it's like you can't see what to do. Sit back there and you try to figure out what you're drawing. That's how you have to look at it. You're still moving things around. You're looking, you're searching, you're experimenting, but you're doing it in your mind, right? Sometimes to try to fool the teacher if you're at school. You're just trying to make it to the coffee break. You're drawing, quote unquote. Anyway, all right. This stuff in here can be a little bit tricky. So let's go from point to point. Down here, we're going point to point in the width of the light shape. Point to point, point to point. So this point to here, this point to here,
Future
this
oil
point to
painter
here,
says,
this
Lewis, I'm
width.
using some Canson paper, sometimes Strathmore. Which one do you like using?
I like both of those. The paper, the Canson paper is good. Canson paper, I guess it depends on what Strathmore paper is. Canson paper is probably better for the lighter charcoal drawings, maybe. For drawing, I like the Strathmore, but you can, like for pencil drawing, but you can, this is actually Strathmore right here. This is very cheap paper. It's not expensive paper. So we're just going from point to point. So from here to here, here, here. I'm trying to see the lines and see this shape that I'm drawing all at once. And then as a third part, trying to see this whole shape right here. So this is training you in seeing the full figure like later on down the road. When you have to do a portrait, you have to relate everything to each other. It's easier if you can retain the whole thing in your mind, project it on there. You're looking at the whole thing at once. That's what it's training us to do here. So here, this line to here. How wide is this? We'll just do a basic line, something like that. Notice it's still very light. Now, look at this. This is interesting. So this, actually, this is too wide now. Mine is too wide. This right here, it should not be touching. This line should be up here. All right. So this right here, in fact, so this is interesting. So I could go in with the plumb line and check and see what's off. But essentially what it is, this and this isn't lining up with this, which isn't lining up with this. So either I should move this up and then that will fix this, or I move this and this down. It's not hard to do. This is really not that hard to do. Because both of them are kind of, so you know what? I'll just move the center parts up. And this is how you do it. And this is good. This now, what are we doing? We're learning how to subtly move things up. And how I do that, I draw the lines in first. You don't take the old lines out first. You draw these lines in first. All right. And we can even mess with this. I'll move this up some. One. And this piece is actually up here like that. That's where that's going to be. This is coming up like that. It's coming up like that. This goes up just a little bit more, something like that. This piece is over this way some. I'm just going to raise that up some. And then from here, 1, 2, this might come up some, but I'm not quite sure. This is a little bit sketchy. Something like that. Now, what do? We go in, and we're going to lose the drawing a little bit doing this, but this is how we shift things. And I've done this in figure painting. I've done this in drawing. So we're drawing with eraser, and it's a little bit awkward right now, right? Something like that. And now we've created that space. See? We just move that up some, and we're going to have to correct this a little bit, which is fine. Not a big deal. Can't freak out. And bring that up. So now we play correcting these shapes again. So this point here, that's going to come up just a little bit right there. Smooth lines. Bring this down. You see that? So what did? We fixed this piece right here, and we corrected that distance, right? And we had two options. We could have, moved this, and it could have been, like, I mean, it would have been easy to move these. Probably it would have been easier.
Future oil painter says. Louis the First worked on the pumpkin baby face last night. Hole, it gave you nightmares.
I think it gave all of us nightmares, but for chair, to be honest with you. And that face, we need to work on your sharp ass lines that you're doing on all this stuff. That thing is scary. Babies are scary if you do them wrong.
Shuri Kitten says. What if they're Asian? Are the structures still the same except the fold?
I don't know. I'd have to see. Babies, I don't know as well. Were you talking about the eyes or structures are the same except for the fold? I don't know. I guess it depends on how Asian they are. because, because sometimes it's just like, it's horrible.
Shuri Kitten says. The eyes, yes.
You can
Shuri
blind,
Kitten says.
yeah.
LOL.
I mean, you can blindfold them with dental floss. Of course, the anatomy is going to be different. But I mean, they have beautiful eyes. A lot of them do. That's just like, but um, I think the fold, but it's also, I found oftentimes it's like this part's a little bit thicker. It's like a little bit smoother, but I don't know. I think I'm general with that. And I've been, like, I've gone through my Korean drama, the K-drama kicks, but they always choose like the most beautiful people. So you don't get, I'm not sure if you get the best anatomical knowledge from that. Like they all have like perfect faces. So I don't know. Okay, anyway, let's back to this. All right, so we're just going through and I'm going to say, okay, the corner of this eye and I probably should have done this before, the width of this right here should be probably around right here. So this is where it should be. And then it has the line going through. Okay, so this point here to here, there's going to be a little bit of an angle, like a slight angle. So from here to here, that is kind of adding up. It really is. So from here, that's where you have this angle kind of coming out like that. Something like that right there. And then let's clean this up. Let's clean that part up some. There. Blindfold them with dental floss, man. I don't know. Shouldn't have said that. Why not? It's funny. It's true. Here. Day 2, I'm banned. We don't approve of your language. You hate Asian people. It's not true. Okay. This might be a little bit, this might actually come down just a little bit. In fact, I am going to bring it down just a little bit.
G.E. Whitman says. A lot of people in Asian countries have a single fold eyelid and people from Europe mainly have a double fold.
Interesting.
Sherry Kitten says. You said they're beautiful, you're fine.
They are, man. There. And then check this out. I kind of have this. This was kind of in the right place. Look at that. And so how do you get this? You don't want to circle it. I'm going to do a series of straight lines like, okay, this is kind of coming at that angle. This right here, something like that. And then this piece right here, okay. This is here. This is, I mean, this is tricky. At what angle is this going? Still feel like this is too short there. This might come up just a little bit.
Future Oil Painter says. P.S. Pumpkin Baby is looking up and with frowny eyes, and also has his mouth open.
You do a lot of things that it's like give people nightmares. It's 3 a.m. in the morning that you're doing this.
Heretic to X says. Well, hello.
Heretic, what's up, man? I loved how Miz was like, no more questions for you. It's like, nah, I'm done asking. You're like, why, Miz? Oh, that cracked me up. I needed that. There, okay.
Sherry Kitten says. Oh, you got a subby, D.
There. Ooh, nice. Thank you. I need to make it so that it comes up. I can't see who. Oh, wait. I can there. No, I can't. Yes, I can. Heretic. Thank you, buddy. Yeah. Appreciate that. I need to make it so that
Future
comes
Oil
up.
Painter says. Everyone is had nightmares, my job is done. G.E. Whitman says. I'm going to roll a 100-sided die to decide what Bargue to draw.
That's the way to do it. Because there's no good options. Just let fate decide. All right. There we go. So I measure, look, I'm measuring points off of themselves, and then I'm trying to see the whole shape and really see if I did something too small or too big or whatever. It's the idea. And sometimes it just has to do with messing with the line width. Really does. The drawings that I have right now, like it's kind of a thick line width, and mine, this one's a little bit better. This is a little generalized looking at it right now. I don't like it, but this one's like, it's okay. But yeah, sometimes the more you work it, you can kind of lose the drawing. And that's kind of the key, is that you want to be able to work on something for a very long period of time and not lose the drawing. It's one of the objectives you should have. Angle's wrong. That should be coming just a little bit like that. That comes up some. Something like that. Okay, so that's like ballpark. And then we can kind of sculpt these just a little bit. It's going to come down some. It's not bad. This is coming along. Now, put that piece in, but let's continue to go and just correct. We're looking at the whole thing. And that's another thing to keep in mind. Like when you have all this inside information, one of the very important things that you have to do is not go piecemeal and just hone in on one little part and work it. I am looking at, to do these things, I'm looking at this whole thing. And one of the things that helps you to do that is constantly be creative in your comparison in points. So if you have a point, say this point here, try to compare it to like 3 or 4 different points, and that will expand your eye out and make you see other points. And when you do that, you'll notice that certain things are off. And that's why in my work, y'all have seen me work before, I'm like constantly going around and working all over the drawing. I'm not just staying in one thing, because you're looking at the whole thing and connecting it all at once and slowly honing in. And after a while, you're doing the subtle details, but you're doing it looking at the larger shape. It is complicated, but it's also basic. Like I kind of say the same things most of the time, you know. All right. So this piece, let's get a little bit more specific with this. This kind of comes up a little bit there, and then it kind of drops down some, and then it curves a little bit like that. Studying this, studying it. That's what we do. We study it. And then cuts off there. And then we sculpt it with the eraser. But
KillerPod
again, I've
5042
kept it light.
says. Lewis eating large meat sandwich watching smile face.
You're so gay. You and Gears, both of you guys. Stupid man. Eating a large meat sandwich was. Ah, there we go. And we just continuously work it.
G.E. Whitman says. Fate chose plate 16, a hand, nice.
Good luck, man. I'll put this right there. Let's check this out. See something cool. Y'all can see it here. This is a hand I'm doing for one of the videos. Down some. That's one of the
G.E.
videos that I'm
Whitman
doing. So,
says.
yeah.
Oh.
It's a hand video, so it'll help you out.
Future Oil Painter says. Was at my kid's swimming event yesterday, and there was a kid with the name, Max Gay Lord. Sherry Kitten says.
Funny.
Oh, like meet the Fockers LOL.
Yep. Pretty funny. Like Gaylord Fokker. All right. Y'all are kind of getting the idea, right? Hopefully this helps. This drops just a little bit.
Sherry Kitten says. Yes.
And this drops just a little bit. There we go. All right. So there's a little bit more of a point going up into the light shape right here. So, and this is too big. That's too big right there. So let's correct this some.
Sherry Kitten says. Oh, I forgot to tell you. We kept hearing Aka's cat the other night. So cute.
Oh, Oka's cat. I didn't know he was a cat. So he's a weird cat lady.
Not OCA says. Looks like a monk hand right before it fists someone.
Yeah, right before I get interrupted and then killed because I can't block. I'm frost locked. Yeah, I recognize it. It goes to my face quite a bit. Oh, this angle's off. Look at this. Should be like that. Hmm. That's correct. It's this side. That comes down. There you go. All right. See, that's how we work. So this is like subtle movements. That's what we do. I was so angry at myself last night. Like the problem that I have, I'll spare you why, but some nights I don't get sleep, which is my fault. And then um I really get pissed off. But it was a rough night last night, and I felt like in arena I was doing everything, and it was a lot of the things were my fault. I was like, why did I. Ugh. And some nights you can just kind of like shirk it off, and you're like, ah, it's cool, whatever. Not last night. I was pissed, man. I was really angry. All right, this piece. So we're just now it's just subtle movements that we're working on, and we're just like going over and just trying to get that crisp line and everything. And when we add pieces, like I
Not
add this
OCA
piece, and I'm like,
says. I have 6 cats.
dude, that's a lot of cats. You're the equivalent of a crazy cat lady, except you're a dude with your little camping tent, and then the Gears sign right above it. Gears plus Oka. This comes out more, but it's like that's too straight. And so if you draw a line, that's actually working. There.
Shurikitten says. OCA was like I am getting gripped. Bro.
I'd love to hear that in a BG and be like, I'm sure you are. I'm getting gripped. He gets gripped, he gets killed, and gets insulted at the same time by his own team.
Asala says. Is that, the heretic?
That was,
Shurikitten says. Cat was making the callouts.
yeah.
Heretic to X says. Yes it is.
He's telling him what he's
Heretic to X says.
going by the calls of the
Tis
cat.
I.
The cat tells him what to do. He's trained him. Cat's like, there's 2 people in Stoneheart's bunker. Go take it. Get your entire team. Go. Go. Rip his head off. Rip his head off.
Not OCA says. Live with crazy cat
Yeah.
lady.
Yeah. This isn't good.
Heretic to X says. I'm learning.
Are you? Drawn? There we go.
Asala says. Nah, I'm leering.
If you're leering, I'm leering. It's all right. Coming along. See, so that's the second eye. Oh, and by the way, this shape is wrong. It really is wrong. This is general in here and it's too small. This actually needs to drop down some probably. It does.
Another person in line
This comes up
E8G
some.
says, I'm coming back to YouTube before I get Lewis banned on Twitch. Sharikitten says, Yay, teacher makes mistakes too.
I do, man. That's why I told y'all 1,000 times. I do this stuff so you see how I handle these mistakes. That's all it is making mistakes and then correcting your work, and comes up some. And then this is going to drop just a little bit. And especially here.
Oscilla says, I must find a WoW husband for housing now.
I told Zerx last night, I said because, I was like, man, I wouldn't resub if he wasn't playing. I'm just angry at them because I've been putting off that expansion just because they're pissing me off again. I don't like how they ignore feedback. They're just being bitches again. All right, so we're making the eye a little bit bigger, which means this might actually, this shape's wrong. I'm gonna have to redraw that probably.
Sharikitten says, you have to get married now.
What, me? Oh. That doesn't look like it's gonna happen anytime soon.
Oscilla says, there's been talk of being able to have a partner of some kind, we're just messing.
Oh, really? Oh yeah, for the
Future Oil Painter says,
yeah.
oh wow, went back in YouTube, and YT was like a half hour behind Twitch, not sure if it's problem on my internet.
Make sure you fast forward it all the way to the end. Like I've done that before, but I realize it's not like pushed all the way forward.
Sharikitten says, on YouTube click the live button on the bottom left.
There you go.
It should be red, not grayed out once you click.
Should be good. I've done that before too. YouTube sometimes it's like it'll stop for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's like buffering. YouTube just doesn't stream as well. Twitch for as many stupid things as they do,
Another
they have
person in
better
line
stream.
E8G says,
There you
okay,
go.
that
Good man.
worked.
So now I'm sculpting this. I'm trying to get it on basic level while looking at the whole thing at once. So this is, again, this is how you train your mind. This will come out in anything that I do. It'll come out in portraiture, everything. Granted, you have to learn portraiture, you have to learn figure drawing, you have to learn those things. But when you learn them, then doing these practice drawings, you're going to really realize how it helps you. Big time. It helps you big time, this stuff. Okay, excuse me. Let me bring this piece up just a little bit. and here's a situation where you want to keep it kind of light. Same here. Now. See, it's so subtle, but it's making a big difference. I should see it more here. It's looking better, I think.
Another person in
Try to
line
redraw
E8G
that line.
says, when you think about it, those guys like Michelangelo and Leonardo learned this as children, no wonder they went crazy.
They were extremely talented. They didn't go crazy. Did they? They didn't go crazy. Where are you getting that from? Michelangelo was literally fleeing from a pope who wouldn't pay him because of a war, I think. He's having trouble with the funds, which makes sense.
Another person in line E8G says, no, I'm just kidding.
Got it.
Not OCA says, Midnight is going to be the best PvP expansion since Wrath Trust.
Okay. I don't think it is. But having said that, I hope you're right. I'm not able to be consoled, Hoka. I've lost all hope and faith in Blizzard. Why do you think that? I am curious, and I do value your opinion. I do. You keep up with this stuff. I want to hear it. All right? Why do you think? I can't imagine doing all these things. There's no way I'm going to do all of them. Do enough to get the gist?
Oscilla says, I am going to play Hunter and whatever healer is S tier.
I just hope they rework some of the classes. If they do that, I'll be fine. If they acknowledge feedback and if they act off it, then I'll be fine. Like the mage, they changed it so much that I can't see myself liking it, and I might,
Another person in
but
line E8G says, on the bright side though, I'm giving that baby painting away so they better like it, even if it looks like a scary Chucky doll.
it's one of those paintings that would be judged most likely to come alive and like terrorize somebody. Okay, I just don't think that. I don't know how you can say, you know what? It's like they're gonna screw it up. I really think these people don't know what they're doing. Why aren't they saying it? Like, why aren't they communicating anything?
Not OCA says, need a minute.
Mhm. And what I can do, so this line is, I'm gonna kind of lightly erase this, kind of see it underneath, but I'm gonna try to redraw this a little bit smoother and lighter. 1, 2, 3. Just mess around, man. Something like that. Do that. Okay. I don't think I can do another one because I hate this as much as I want to help. I mean, I can do it later. Let's just think, what else was it he said he wanted? Give me a second. The text-to-speech really helps because I don't need to be constantly looking over the screen. I feel like I'm getting more work done. Okay, he said, nice. BP, good job, man. More straight lines, though. More straight lines. Second one's very good. You did a good job with the second one. Okay. This is eyes. The profile face is great for the first two, and then head to the heel. See, profile face. I'm looking up Bargues right now. I might do another one, but I'm tired of the eyes right now. Do them later.
Tajian 732 says. Yea Bargue's baby.
Bargue drawings. Was that tagging? Pull the stream thing up here. Tagging, what's up, man? We have text to speech too, so this is on
Tajian
both.
732 says. WTF is that voice?
It's nice, huh? So I'm streaming on YouTube and Twitch, and I have the chat up so everybody can see it, right? Pretty sure. Yeah, everybody can see the chat. And so it's like you can read the chat in stream, and I can hear it. So now I don't have to constantly look at my phone. I can just draw. So it's so much easier to work. So much easier. All right. Bar drawings, profile pics. Okay,
Tajian
those.
732 says.
Images.
Lewis is gay.
No, I'm not. You are. Burn. You guys are going to take advantage of this. Take this one. So you figure out how to download it. Wait a second. No.
Tajian 732 says.
Works.
I love this.
It's nice, huh? Yeah, it's awesome. Wait a second. That's not the one that I want. What plate was this? This is
Heretic to X says. Tajian. Grade school called they want their joke back.
when Gears comes in here, it's over. What plate is the profile pic? That is plate. All right, I'll show you what we're going to do. Plate 1. It's plate
Another person in line E8G says. Lewis, you forgot to show us the way to hold a pencil with the Gorilla Grips method.
With the girly grips. Shut up. This is plate 3. Does it say 1, 3? Oh, it is plate 3. Okay. All right. Plate 3. You find it on 2 sites there. Oh, this is BS. So weird. Okay. Bargue plate 3.
Not OCA says. I believe in the combat add-on changes. It force people to use their eye to make critical decisions without depending on add-ons. I don't know why, but I think are going to be big PvP announcements soon.
I hope you're right. I'm not worried about getting rid of the add-ons and stuff. I don't like the class changes they've made. That's my thing. I feel like they used AI to do it.
Another person in line E8G says. A cousin of mine keeps sending me Catholic prayers. I think she's trying to tell me something. Grasshopper 11275 says. People can't make decisions on their own though.
Take that.
Tagian 732 says. Lewis, do you take creatine?
Yes, right now I do. Yeah, in the mornings. And then I'll eat steak and eggs afterwards. I need as much energy as I can. I'm trying to keep as much muscle as I can too right now. I actually like need it. It's a horrible picture. Whatever. I'll go with that. I'm gonna get it on this too. Like 3 images.
Tagian 732 says. I just started using it. It's freaking awesome. Right now I'm in a bulking stage.
Good. I mean, it's like hell. We're gonna take that. Is that hell? Come on. Creatine's really good, man. No, I need it. I'm always lifting my dad. My day is extremely physical right now at this point in my life. I mean, I have to like literally lift him up, whether under his arms or carry him like a baby or do stuff like multiple times a day. Wait a second. I don't know which one I'm gonna do. Uh, which one should I do? Profiles. We'll start with the one on the left, I guess. Do the one on the left. Bottom left. Oh, bring the chat back up. Yeah, okay. I hope you're right, man. I mean, I want it to be good, and But I don't think they have anything. Look, they didn't switch any of the PvP talents. I think they're tone deaf with PvP. I think there are people who enjoy it within the company, but I think they're constrained for whatever reason. And I think that whoever's running the game has no respect for PvP or its player base. So I don't think that anything's coming. Now, I hope I'm wrong. I would be extremely happy if that was not the case. But I think they have so many things that they're working on right now. PvP is the very last thing if they care about it at all. And I don't think they care about it. Like, do you remember that island they said they gave us? It was like a little piece of shit island off in the corner that I went to once and nothing was happening. Actually, more than once. Nothing would ever happen there. There were a couple fights and that was it. And they talked it up. And even in the interview, they said, "Oh, I won't be playing that." And they just laugh about it. I mean,
Tagian732 says,
it's bullshit.
what do you guys think about buying Hogwarts Legacy? Is it worthy?
Buying, 1 second, I need to.
Tagian732 says, I only play Call of Duty. Another person in line E8G says, saw one YT epid with people who draw with other methods. They did say that the Bargue method people know their stuff. One thing I noticed is that they use a lot of curvy lines, and they. Another person in line E8G says, they talk about anatomy a lot.
Yeah, so curvy lines, I'll talk about that in a second. Hogwarts Legacy, actually, I think maybe Zerx has played that tag game. You might want to ask him. I don't know. He was in YouTube early, like early on. I'm not sure if he's there right now. And maybe I think he played it. I think it's either him or Val. It seems like a really good game, but um so the advantage of using straight lines to draw is you can still make the curve, but it forces
Leaps
you to
says,
understand the
I.
angles better. Leaps, what's up, man? How are you doing? All right, let's get this profile pic going. All right, so we're doing the bottom left one. So we're gonna get angle of the head and try to get the height of it. Go about here.
Tagian732 says, I'm waiting for the Lord of the Rings open world game they have been talking about. Leapsk says, good, glad to see you streaming again.
Yeah, man, it's good to stream. And both on YouTube and Twitch actually, which is nice. Obviously have the chat up so everybody can see it there because I don't like half the people knowing what, only half people knowing what half people are saying. All right, so if I'm looking at this, yep, this point's going to be slightly out, probably about here, and my drawing has about this. I'm
Shrikitten
trying to do
says,
ballpark
Lord
size.
of the Rings already had an MMO that failed.
It did, I think. Did it fail? Then I'm going to go divide it up in points. So this point right here, and then let's go from this point up to the nose. So we're trying to get the nose, and then we're going to see how long that is. It's all about seeing angles. This actually comes out. This point comes up to here. This point goes to here, which that makes sense because I think mine was too dramatic. Something like that. So we're just trying to get these basic points. First off, I'd like to rewind. If I am blocking this in, like really I should have probably done this. This is how I would block in, get this point, get this point, get this angle. And then like in a drawing setting, like a class, this is how I go about it. I'm like, okay, that's how I block it in. This is the nose. So maybe I should have started with that. something like that. And then we can start breaking it down from here. This point goes up, and then it's going to be kind of coming out some right about somewhere here. One, or you just go two, something like this. Comes up like that. And then we bring this in something like that. And then this piece, so we get these. Here to here. Let's try and get these basic points in. See this shape, this point. There's somewhere around here. All right, so that's like, this is very basic, right? Normally, if I was working on this like a regular portrait, do something like that, and then you say, okay, the angle of the mouth is coming through, something like that. Like on a figure that's moving, this is how I would kind of like have it blocked in. In addition, I would have like, I would make sure before I even go through do this, I would have like, the head and stuff, but it's important to make that relationship even at this bar drawing stage. You don't just want to brainlessly copy. I'm trying to give you the direction, the reasoning why you're doing this, so it gives you fuel, because bars suck and it's too easy to quit. You have to know why you're doing them, how it relates. How is this going to help?
Heretic to X says,
This comes up.
this is called blocking in.
You're blocking in the shapes. It's very basic, right? You're just getting the bare bones basic of what everything. Because if you go and like sculpt everything and you probably got in the wrong place. So it's just like building a house. You have to get the foundation first, and then you start, with everything. You get into everything else after that. Otherwise, it's just not going to make sense. You can't start with the small stuff. You have to start with the big things and then correct that, make sure it's sturdy, and then you build on top of it. And then you might have to correct the foundation some a little bit more. More information you add in, the more you see. This is how it is. This drops. There. And then this piece cuts down just a little bit.
Another person in line E8G says, yo.
So with the profile profile shot rather, you have like one very good method of like understanding it. This is hard. Profiles are extremely difficult. So it helps to look at this negative shape right here. For example, like this area right here. Instead of saying, okay, I'm drawing the mouth and all this stuff, and you're looking at this side, look at this other side, and you can just kind of draw the abstract shape coming out like that. You see, like get this piece in right there to get that angle of the mouth, right? And then when you start doing these things and just drawing in a very basic manner, you'll start seeing it a little bit more. So I think what I did, I didn't do this correct. So this right here, this needs to come up some actually. Let me make sure that this is correct. If this is here, this is here, this is no, this does come up. I'm gonna bring it back up. And then this actually, I think this comes up some. I think something like that. And then that would come up some. I think that's actually a very drastic change. We'll see. Let's see. All right. So at this point, let's just that's looking better to me. That fixed this, I think. This comes down. And then this is just weird right here. So if this is here, this is going to be here, and it's going to be like that. Okay, so now we clean this up. Did I scar that? Huh, it's not good. This angle right there needs to change this down some. I'm trying to see this angle to this right here. This, that was not a good line. All right. Go. We're just constantly checking the base points here, which that actually comes here. Something like this.
Another person in line E8G says, is anyone awake?
People are transfixed with how interesting these barbs are to do, including myself. Let's reblock this in. Here, there. That's the bottom, that's the top. Mouth. Something like that. Right. That's the mouth. That piece there, the mouth needs to come up some. Find the lines. There you go.
Another person in line E8G says, one documentary said that Leonardo would stalk people in the streets to draw their faces.
He was very interested with a lot of things. All right, so what I did, I got to the point where I was just trying to make it look like it because I'm getting tired. So I reblocked this in. And I'll have to correct some things, but I reblocked this. I just went through, sketched it in, put where I thought the mouth was, and then just simply broke down the points on each side, measuring everything off of everything else to get it, right? But it's something we can work with here. Sharpen our pencils.
Pilesard says, hello.
Pilesard. What's up, man? Oh,
Another person in line E8G says, home skillet.
home skillet. So this is ballpark. Squint down for this. Squint. One.
Another person in line E8G says, hope you got your Bargue patients ready to go pile.
Or bar patients ready to go pile. Yeah, pile. All right. Basic blocking of the shadow shape. We'll get, but that's it. You squint down, you just generalize as much as possible. I should probably be catching this eye up some. See this point here? Draw the light shape in between, just kind of mark it one. This comes over some, just not even that much. That was close though, actually. That was close. It's probably actually closer than I thought at first. There, and then this piece right here, you see that? That's the point, and then the eye, if you were to carry through, would be going slightly underneath it, right? At one angle, something like that. So like that's where eye should be, somewhere around there. This piece comes up some, just a little bit. One, and this is going to drop down some. And then we're going to clean it up. Boom, something like that. See? That's how we do. This is too big. Oh, we'll fix it. This is here. This should be actually in quite a bit. And then this piece, this, there, this drops. There, there. Okay, let's try this.
Shurikitten says, Discord.
Me. Or are you saying Discord?
Shurikitten says, welp that's broken lol.
What happened? What are you trying to do? Okay. Here. You go. See, it's slowly starting to come together. Also, what probably should have done this point here. That's kind of where something like this right now. I'll just point that in. So you see how we're just slowly developing this. It's all really
Wilesard
pretty much
says,
straight lines, too.
I have a question about this specifically.
Yeah.
Do you think sometimes we take too much time perfecting one drawing to the point it's useless? Almost obsessive.
I like how the TTS paused with obsessive, almost obsessive. Um, yeah, you can do that 100%. However, um, it depends on what you're doing. So in Bargue drawings and when you're a beginner, right? So context is extremely important. Beginners most of the time need to be slowed down, and you need to slow yourself down to see the mistakes and to correct the mistakes and to really push yourself in learning how to continuously work on a drawing without it looking overworked, because you need to build up that patience to spend all that time doing painting, but also you need to take the time to train your mind to see what you need to see, right? And to understand it. You need to slow down and really see and push the lines like I'm doing right here. Eventually, what happens, like you go as a beginner, this is how it is. But as you do these drawings and you're going slow, you start speeding up because you're doing those things that you were supposed to slow down to learn faster. So,
Shrikitten says, the bot typically can pull the Discord link. Heretic was asking for the link. Looking for those sweet bargas lol. Another person in line E8G says, did they give you any tips to live longer, at Florence? Because it's gonna take me a second lifetime to get this down packed, and men in my fam mostly don't like to live long.
so once you get this stuff, like once you get it, once you understand this, and down the road, sure, you can be spending too much time on a drawing if you're just aimlessly doing it. Um, but if you're doing something like if you're doing a project to learn, it's extremely important to slow yourself down to pick out those things so that you can actually see them, right? Um, Now, if you want to supplement with gesture drawings and a project on the side where you go quick just to loosen yourself up for that purpose, that's good. I think that helps. But eventually you will speed up doing these things that it takes most beginners much longer to do. You'll be able to get this much quicker because you've already been through that. So you'll naturally speed up. But of course you can take your too much time on it, but this right here is meant to do that. It's meant to slow you down so that you can digest and really take in the information. Look at it with a magnifying glass, learn the techniques, because you're given so much to juggle, even at these basic stages. Like, don't let the simplicity of the drawing fool you. The teachings that are here are extremely, like, it is just jam packed. You have to juggle a lot of things all at once. And to do that, the beginner has to slow themselves down. So when you're blocking in, it's like you blocking extremely basic. It's good as a beginner to do this, to learn those steps. But after you learn them later on, when you're a little bit more intermediate and advanced, you start compressing these stages anyway, because you see it. You see this stuff. You already see what needs to change. You understand these things. You know how to fix things. You know how to develop the drawing. You've taken your time and you're moving quicker through it, but you're not rushing necessarily. I don't think there are enough people who take enough time to learn this stuff. They just want to go quick because they see professionals doing it, but those professionals slowed themselves down at some point. They have a lot of practice. They go faster just naturally at this point. So that's my thoughts on it. If hopefully that made sense. It's a very good question, Pilesword. Very good question. And some days it's like some days are a little bit different than others. Sometimes you have to take a little bit more time. This point comes out some compared to where this is, or this goes in some. So
Richard Wyan 3728
let's
says,
bring this out some.
hello.
What's up, Richard? And bring that out just a little bit. So like, for example, right here, like as a beginner, you're going to miss a lot of things. So you need to take more time seeing these proportions. Have to do it, you know. You're going to be making way more mistakes. Okay, bring that out some. See, like these lessons right here that you're learning, it's like this will come out in oil painting. This will make you a better oil painter. Slow yourself down now, you'll speed up later. You got to take the time to study. Like Bouguereau, for example, was he did a lot of work, but he did a lot of studies. So for each piece, he would do like several sketches, and then he would do a color study, and then he would do a painting, and then he would do the actual painting. And by the time it was to the actual painting, he had done so much of that work. He had studied everything that it just he just like blasted it out in his work. And that people said that they never saw somebody paint so fast. But he did a lot of preparatory work leading up to that, right? There's a lot of work that goes into it. We could all learn from him.
Tajian 732 says. For a beginner I would focus more on block in of the bargues than the laying in of the shadows.
And again, it depends
Tajian
on where you're
732
at.
says. Bargues literally have changed the way I
Yeah,
see things.
yeah. But eventually what you're doing, you're looking, you're seeing the light impression all at once. Like you can squint down and you can do it multiple ways. You can do it linearly, like just with lines. You can go through and just like, I've done this before. I kind of start with the shadows, basic block in, hatch the lines out with it, right? But the key is you have to know how to place what you're doing in a malleable manner, in a manner in which you can change it. A lot of people lock it in right away and then they can't change it. You know, because it's fun, you know, shadowing and this. Well, it's fun, it feels good, but then it doesn't look good, you know. Yeah, the music. Hopefully, music's not too loud, is it? On YouTube, Twitch rather. Down just a little. I mean, because and it depends. Like beginners, you still is good to know how to work with the shadows. But like this, for example, this is plate 3, and now we're getting into the introductory shadows. A good artist can define shadows in subtle areas from real life. You're able to pick shadow shapes out. And actually, some of those go back to the Renaissance and look at Raphael's drawings. And Michelangelo is very good at this too. Look at their drawings. There's actually defined shadow shapes in there. That's why it's easier to draw those drawings because they've already been rendered out for you. They've already made the decisions what shadows are going to be put in there. There's, for the most part, a basic light impression. So you need to know how to pick that out in real life. So bar drawings, this is extremely, you know, extremely basic. It works your way up to the light impression, right? Because faces don't look like this. Like it's not just one shadow, you know, like one, you know, one type of looking shadow. It's a gradation of them. But you have to know, like when you squint what you're doing. This is saying, okay, these are shadows, and I'm showing you how to block it in essentially right here. Is that the wrong shape? Yeah, it is. It is, but I mean, like I can go through like this is look, this is how we go about like correcting this stuff here. Like I shift these lines down, and
Another person in line E8G says,
right here, look at that.
what
Just
Donalu think of the Russian Academy? They
basic
are
block, and
coming
then we
after
can
me
go
with their
through and
YouTube episodes. They think I have a couple $100 to spend on their school.
we slowly start breaking these lines down. The Russian academies, I think a lot of them are good, but I don't know specifically which ones. Like the Russians, at least at one point, knew how to paint.
Pilesard says, I completely agree with your answer. I
Yeah,
think these exercises forces you to make the good choices early on.
yeah,
Indeed, one of my biggest vices is not understanding a certain form early on, then problems. Tagian
exactly.
732 says, I just hate that some academies focus too much on laying in the tones of the shadows with this needle-sharp graphite taking
Oh
forever,
yeah,
and then they end up doing only 3 barges in a year.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like they do that, and it's just they're missing so much. There is so much. I, I think I obviously like y'all are pretty smart because y'all are getting this stuff, at the early stages. It took me a while to really appreciate. I think I always appreciated it, but what's interesting is once you have been through like the painting process and you've gotten along with figures and stuff, you've done portraits, and then you come back after not having done them for a while and do bar drawings, you start realizing how many elements are in here that are foundational to the work that you do every single day in paint. This is the 101 right here. Like who does this, right? But this is a solid method that like it will come out in my painting the next time I paint, even if it's a landscape painting, because I'll be seeing shapes clearly and be thinking about it differently. And that's one less thing I need to struggle with as I paint. That means I can focus on other things. That's why you make drawing second nature, and like you have to continuously like work yourself out with your proportions. It's just like staying in shape, you know. Um, you continuously do that, and you're going to be amazing, like me. This stuff here is like this is sticking out a little bit
Pilesard
slightly
says,
too much.
Tagian, you got the point. That's the obsession I was talking about.
Yeah, yeah. Tagging nose, man. There you go. So you just and this. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this. All of this all at once, and constantly. Y'all know how it is. It's like things can look good, and then you look at it like a second later, it's totally wrong. One of the advantages. Here's a technique. Here's a nice strategy. I always say compare points off of each itself, and you're going to be like, compare this point go up here, this point to here, which is not defined, is it? But like going around and working all around, it's going to help keep your eye fresher because you're not just in one spot the whole time. You're going around, and then when you come back, you have a different eye. You're constantly looping around, trying to see the whole thing at once. Solid way of working. So this coming through here, that is looking good. And then I know it looks like I'm detailing here. I'm just trying to see how long the eyelid is, and it is making a little bit more sense right there. So when I'm
Tagian
drawing,
732 says, the FAA does that right. They don't focus so much on laying in the graphite, and after the barges they implement those ideas on the live model.
to implement those ideas on the live model. Um, yeah, and I think later on, like, with the drawings with like Belvedere torso and stuff, like there's a little bit more application shading and stuff. There are certain drawings that they do have that, but it's like those are more advanced, right? It's like stepping up to it. And then the model itself is like that's when you're making those decisions because you're going from real life. You're having to make those decisions, right? Say, okay, what am I gonna like squinting down, understanding the light impression, the shadows, unifying what you need to unify, because you have to compress the shadows to a varying degrees all throughout the body to make it work. You know, a lot of people have their eyes open the whole time and everything looks too light and over modeled in some areas. It's because they don't know how to key the shadows up, and that in turn screws
Wellbeing
the
7
form up.
says, hello.
Well-being, what's up? But it screws the form up. You know, like you have to understand the form, the anatomy, the sculpturality of it, right? And this, I guarantee you, will make you a better sculptor as well. If you're going into sculpture, this is not looking good. That's weird. In fact, this drawing is not that great, honestly. I've kind of messed up some of the proportions with it, but that's okay. Still getting proportion vitamins out of this.
Wellbeing 7 says, saw a class-like environment and immediately joined to check the stream out.
Yeah, it is a class-like environment, I guess. It is. Yeah. So, well, being what this is that
Pilesard says,
in my
now
Discord?
an unrelated question.
Uh-huh.
What's your thoughts on abstract art?
Yeah, I'll tell you that in a second. So, um, well, being in my Discord today, somebody wanted me to demonstrate a block in with the basic Bargue drawing plates. Charles Bargue did these plates. So we're just copying, obviously, the bottom left drawing, and so that's what I'm doing here because I figure it's good. I'm normally doing my own work, but this is good practice for me. I enjoy teaching it, so thought I'd take a day to do a
Another
lesson
person in
day.
line E8G says, how many cadavers should we have to dissect?
Always save the
Shurikitten
cadavers
says,
of your
disc link.
enemies and dissect them. So you should be doing quite a few every single week, but for chair. Abstract art, I normally don't like because I think they shoot themselves in the foot. I just think a lot of it's just ugly and confused, and it just reflects a lot of ugliness, confusion from society. If I was to be deep about it, I basically don't like it. It's also so broad that it's hard to say you hate everything, but I think a lot of it's just crap, personally. I mean, there's abstract pieces that I've liked before. Like sometimes it's like, oh, that's like, and look, sometimes you can tell somebody's been trained and they're making really awesome effects and they're purposefully trying to, like, they have something to say and it's aesthetically pleasing, even though it might not make as much sense. That stuff I like. It's not bad. It's all right, you know. But most of the time I hate it because it's like it's the home for pseudo intellectuals, you know, type of thing. Okay, this is too big for my site size right here. This I made this too big. So what I see is that this piece is too big. This needs to come up as does that. So that's what we're gonna do. Or bring this stuff up some.
Wellbeing 7 says,
I think it needs to go up.
I
If
joined the
not,
Discord. I draw
whatever.
too mostly digitally.
Nice well-being. Awesome. We have digital work in there too. Nice, man. Good. It's good having you. We have a bunch of characters in here. They're being good right now. I recently put in the text to speech. They've been good recently. I haven't had to take that toy away.
Shurikitten says, I got you fam for the digital XD.
Yeah. Was that you, Shitty? Was it? This is still too long. This is what I'm talking about. Sometimes you just mess things up, man. Cross through. think that's it. I don't think it goes up any more than that.
Another person in line E8G says. Abstract art is pretty expensive though, mean not sure what it says when a banana duct taped to a canvas goes for millions, or another one an artist mentioned, is invisible but it's their promise.
Because those people who are buying bananas are monkeys themselves, man. They're stupid. If they want to pay millions of dollars for a banana, it's like the biggest scam. I don't care what, I don't care how you put it. I don't care how famous that person is. It's the stupidest thing ever. It's the emperor has no clothes. That's what I'm talking about. Stuff like that that I don't like. Now, look, if somebody gets that money, I don't begrudge people for getting money. I'm just saying it's stupid. Who would do that? You look at those people and look, there are a lot of people out there. I don't care how much money you have or don't have, there are a lot of dumb people. Not, we don't have any of them in here. We're all extremely intellectual. Oh, song.
Another
Did I bring
person
it up
in
too
line
much?
E8G says. Just
Stupid
had
though.
to say that to make text sing.
Sing. To make text sing. Wait.
Sharikitten
So,
says. There's a digital section if you need help with that specifically, otherwise you can post in show me your work or burn my ass to the ground for a harsh critique. Wellbeing 7 says. Decided some recent art. Richard Wyant 3728 says. If you buy it, do they come and replace the banana or is that on the buyer?
it's probably on the buyer. Dude, I don't know. That's just a different level right there. That's all it's just the most retarded thing ever. I don't know why they do that stuff. To me, it just represents confusion on so many different levels. Like it's not inspiring. Like I don't even it's like
Wellbeing
art should be
7 says.
beautiful and inspiring. It should
Decided to share
help
some
people.
recent art, sorry.
No,
Grasshopper
it's good to share that stuff.
11275 says. Maybe the shriveled smelly banana is the art.
Is the art. Yeah. That's what I'm saying though. It's like, oh, it is art. Well, what is art then? Oh, well, that's the beauty of okay, well, you're on crack, idiot.
Pilesard says. The banana is some
Love to go
BS,
in there
not
and just
gonna
troll
lie.
people like that.
But
I would
take
go in there with a
Rothko, I
turtleneck and all
just love
sorts of
him. It could be I interpret his paintings as a pure vision of a not having a perspective on the world, there's no clear determination.
I can very easily put on one of my personas a wig and represent that for you if you want. I mean, it's just like I don't know. I just think it's retarded. I would just love to go into one of these places, these pretentious places, and just troll the hell out of people. It would be so much fun, especially if you went with some friends. I mean, you couldn't act like too goofy. You have to act so like
Richard Wine
weird that you pull it
3728
off.
says. Anyone want to critique my portrait?
I'll do it. Anybody can do it. Push yourself. Somehow. Myself. We get the basic block in and then we start hatching out these other shapes.
Richard Wyant 3728 says. It is my avatar. It was a commission for a friend of a young Ozzy Osbourne. Another person in line
Ooh.
E8G says. Richard, there's a cool baby oil painting on Discord, If you have trouble sleeping, please take a look.
Don't look at it. It'll give you nightmares. It's this pumpkin baby that looks freaking crazy. I look at it like it's posted so many times in so many different phases. Just when you get over it, then you see it, you're like, ah. These are the funniest commissions, man. Are they even commissions? You're just doing them, forcing them upon people.
Richard Wyant 3728 says,
It is funny.
I tried to join the Discord, not sure if it worked.
I think you have to like accept the rules in it,
Tagian
right?
732
Which was me
says,
saying just don't do anything
beauty
stupid.
is lost nowadays, the only thing remaining is provocation in art.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just trying to get like some reaction out if you'd be like, and like as if it's a smart thing. It's like gotcha art.
Tagian
So
732
cheap.
says, the main theme in art nowadays is to provoke.
Yeah. It's not like a
Another
lot of
person
it's
in
not
line
creative
E8G says, just doing them for co-workers.
that you dislike.
Sharikitten says, Richard Wyant 3728 link.
Link. There you go. I think he had the link. I think it's him accepting the rules. I think a lot of people had, well, not a lot of people, but sometimes people have problems with that. Okay, wait, I'm being stupid again with this. Okay, this goes down to there. Then this. I really just want to quit this right now. I hope this is appreciated because or helps rather.
Sharikitten says, I don't see the join if it was just now.
I'm like to that point where it's just like
Richard
I
Wyant
hate this.
3728 says, I am low side of our side 3.
Lucid Far Side. Oh, look at that. Because there's some abstract art that's cool, but it has to be creative. It has to stir something. It has to be not something that's just trying to like be cheap, right? I think because there's a lot of
Sharikitten
money in it,
says,
a lot of people are going
oh yep,
towards it.
you're in there.
It's a lot of BS.
Click the smiley face to accept the rules if you haven't already.
There you go.
Wellbeing 7 says, followed you on YouTube too, that is an interesting about section here on Twitch too.
Awesome, man. Forgot about genius level mastermind or something, probably. I said it. Got some interesting videos.
Another
Currently,
person in line
lots of
E8G
critique
says,
videos. I'll get more out.
Richard, be sure to stare directly into the baby's eyes for maximum impact.
Maximum impact is the stupidest thing. This face is probably totally off. This is me not wanting to do this right now. Oh, I kind of got to that point. Those two eyes, this eye right here, right around this point, when I was doing this, I was just like, I want to quit. Then I was like, well, I'll do a profile pic. Big mistake. Big mistake.
Sharikitten says, don't worry, but 4chair posts it in my Discord too every night almost.
It is funny.
Another person in line E8G says, LOL.
Stupid. This kind of comes out some, and I don't want
Another
to
person in line
darken it,
E8G
really.
says, Eye of the Tiger, Lewis, don't give up.
Yeah, I know, you're right.
Sharikitten says, I told him he at least needs to get paid $5 for it. Get that Subway money.
Jared can do it, so can you. That was not a good move. This is very poor drawing. My drawing is starting to go now, guys. But here's the thing. Here's another way of looking. So you see how like I am kind of slowing down with this right now, partially because I'm not into it, partially because I'm a little bit tired. I've been drawing for some time at this point, but um,
Wellbeing 7 says,
you got to push
I
it.
think I will switch over to YouTube. Want to check out the streaming there too. BRB in 5 minutes.
Yeah, all right, man. You do that. But excuse me, you want to push this, right? And because even if you're messing up and it's not looking great, you're making mistakes, you're still getting stuff out of it. You are, and that's one of the with bar drawings. That's the key. This is supposed to root out, your
Another
weaknesses.
person in line E8G says, I'm thinking of keeping it as a Halloween prop.
That is, you should. It's actually pretty funny. It is actually pretty funny.
Pilesard says, I can't unsee the pumpkin baby now.
Exactly. Aren't you glad you joined Disc? Whoops. Trying to do a straight line through that.
Another person in line E8G says, it's pretty cool, right? Chucky has nothing pumpkin baby. Richard Wyant 3728 says, cool, I am in.
There you go. Good man. Hmm. Woo. All right. All right.
Another person in line E8G says, tell your friends, and don't forget to mention Lewis also. Pilesard says, what is art, Loisa? Richard Wyant 3728 says, I am super interested in what you think of my portrait. Please be mean.
Okay, I'll be extremely mean to you, Richard. Um, what is art? Um, I don't know. You know what's crazy? I don't. But um, the interesting thing about art, right, is that it used to be considered more like the craft, right? The craft, the art of this, the art of medicine, the art of music, the art um, of drawing, art of painting, right? So you were not considered an artist back in the day, right? Like
Richard
talking
Wyant
200-300 years ago.
3728 says, it is up.
And so people were either good at drawing or not good at drawing. They were good at painting. They weren't, it wasn't until much later that was coined the arts, the fine arts, right? Which is drawing and painting. So that's one of those things. It's like people can't really define what it is. And so that's, I think just everything it's all over the place because there's no definition for it almost. Or if there is, it's like everything's like constant, like it's just vague and it's extremely, you can just bend it every which way. But that's why it's like, I like to just say, look, you know, I'm a painter. I- Either I painted well today or I sucked, right? So it's, like the art of medicine. Either you know medicine or you don't know medicine, right? So you have those standards that you judge by, and you need those standards. saying artist, it's like that encompasses so many things. It's like, well, what the hell is that? It could be anything. Now, you're saying a banana on the wall is art, not you, but I'm just saying, like, general you saying, well, then how's that different from this? We're both artists. What does it mean? I don't know. Because it's constantly changing. The art of drawing, the art of painting, the craft. It's like a craft, right? But if you're going for artists, my definition would be something that is pushes you towards something beauty and inspirational, and it has a positive plus effect on you, moves you in a certain direction like that. Um, not something that's horribly ugly and uninspired, right? And it takes, you know, you got to put your heart into it as well. But it's not all about the feeling. Oh, this artist felt this way. Well, if the piece sucks, then I mean, it sucks. They can feel it all day long, but if they didn't take the time to respect the craft itself, then I think if you want to call it art, it's suffering because of it. You know, I don't know. I just feel like when terms become so vague, it breeds like um, say indifference, mediocrity. It breeds mediocrity when things are vague, when there's like no standard for stuff. What I say, a painter I either painted well today or I didn't, or I didn't.
Another person in line E8G says, I remember once back in my architecture days, clinic was being constructed, was a long project that dragged on, suddenly an artist shows up, installs a mural, leaves in 2 days, and he got big bucks.
Wow. Well, that's the thing. It's like sometimes, if people are worth it, right? It's like athletes get paid a lot, but because they're worth it. They're worth that money. It is not many people can do what they do, right? They've trained, they've sacrificed their time. They go and they perform. People can say, "Oh, they're getting paid so much to play a game." Well, they're getting paid that much because people like seeing that, and very few people can do what they do. You know, so you're paying for them for that training, the sacrifice they've made to get to that point. And obviously, if there's a demand for that, right, you have to be giving something back. Um, some artists they make quite a bit of money and they're worth it. We're blocking this in now. All these lines are pretty much you can erase most of the stuff. I think I don't think I've locked anything in really. That's one of the things you have to learn how to work so that it does not scar the paper immediately. You have to be able to change things pretty quick. Let's see this as a shape here. It comes out some, and then this kind of comes out just a little bit. Here, and then this would come in some. This is incorrect. This comes out. Maybe not like that. Okay, something like that. See if this works. See, this again, like when you have to copy something so precise, it is a solid brain workout. You'll feel it too. You'll be tired, like mentally tired. It's a good feeling. I like it. That's when you know it's working. I'm going to lightly block the shadow shapes in. I'm going to do them both at the same time. Hmm. And then let's do this too. I should have had this shadow shape in. Draw the light shape as we go. One. This is going to come up just a little bit. Something like that. And then from here we can work these shapes, right? Go in with erasers and try to get the drawing, right? So this is the very basic of like when you have shadow shapes, or say if you're painting, we're painting light into it and we're moving the shadows and we're trying to get that light impression, fix the proportions. That's what we're doing here. Funeral for the body.
Pilesard says. When I do portraits, which is basically all I draw/paint now, I have to take breaks all the time because my brain can't take it.
Yep. You're correct. You are correct. It is a lot.
Another person in line E8G says. Good job, Richard, almost as good the pumpkin baby.
It is freaking scary. Pumpkin baby.
Richard Wyan 3728 says. It is not that good. Pilesard says. What's your favorite thing to draw?
I doing the Virgin Mary
Pilesard says.
portraits.
Be oddly specific. Sherry Kitten says.
Yeah, Virgin Mary.
Richard Wyan 3728 What do you think is wrong with it?
The portrait. Yeah. Trying to see this whole shape is one, and this kind of needs to come down some. Just a little. You'll get like the idea with this, right? So we essentially, and I still need to fix this area in here and stuff, but this is kind of how we go about doing
Pilesard
this.
says. Why the Virgin Mary? Richard Wyan 3728
I like the
says.
Virgin Mary.
Overall I am very happy with, but the proportions of the face are off width-wise.
She makes a great
I
painting.
like what I did with adding color.
I'll have to check it out in a second. Form
Shrikitten
back in here. I
says,
lost the form.
Pilesard he's a man. He likes drawing butts and tits obviously.
She's also correct.
Richard Wyan 3728 says, nose is too long.
In mine or in, because mine might be too long too, or in his. I think he's critiquing his. I'll have to check it out. So this one's a little bit off.
Pilesard says, why are you assuming lowest gender? Richard Wyan 3728 says, mine.
Assuming gender? My well, wait, what? What are we talking about? Let me check the I'll check Discord here. Let me see if this slows the stream down. I wanted to see if this does. Discord was taking up quite a bit of energy. I don't think it. Wait a second. Drop frames. The frames are dropping some. That's not from this, is it? Dun, dun. Cat. One more shot. Dun, 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 dun. Pileswood. I don't know if I waved to you twice. I might have.
Another person in line E8G says, Richard, think the top of the forehead should be a little shorter, and the hair split line could go a little to the left.
That's a
Bob
good painting, man.
says,
That's a very
all
good
the
painting.
lines are two-dimensional, and between any two lines is a flat two-dimensional shape.
Well, what I like about this is that there's solid brushwork in it, it's explaining the form, which is solid. That's really cool. The light impression. Let me see the reference photo. Yeah, so the nose sticks out like when you squint down. Yeah, the colors are off unless you're trying to go for that, but the light impression is ballpark. The nose is just a little bit too bright, standing out too much. But I think you're kind of like there with that. Let's see. Overall, the whole thing looks a little bit too long, like the forehead. It needs to kind of crunch down some. But that's going off of a photograph. See, I'm hesitant to always do proportions off photos. Sometimes it's like the angle. It's like this. Look, the camera is at an angle with this, so everything's off. Let's see. Mouth seems like it's slightly too small. Nose is too small. The nose is too long. Then this needs to be wider, and the mouth needs to be a little thicker. The proportions, but the form and your brushwork looks pretty cool. I like it. Like it's good. It's really good. You just like his proportions. And that's, again, I could be wrong because that's a photograph. Proportions are like, everything's always off with it. So we're good.
Richard Wyan 3728 says, thanks.
No problem. The second wait a second. Are we getting drop frames right now? It just went back up. I'm telling you, I think Discord slows my computer down. I think this thing's way too high because showing me was faking me out earlier. Disk, I think, was slowing my computer down.
Richard Wyan 3728 says, yeah, I did work a lot on the mouth, but it never did get to where I wanted it.
You'll get it. Mouths are tough, man. But like, They're tough. I don't like this. I didn't do a good job with that, but okay. Okay, and so to articulate, I think this is going out too far like that. I just messed up the proportions with this. It's probably too long down there. Um, but I think I'm done.
Pilesard
I've been
says,
doing Bargs for
Discord
several
uses a
hours.
lot of memory.
Yeah, it does. I think it slowed the stream down when I had it up. But I'm glad I put the second I put it down, it just the frame shot back up, and so
Richard Wyan 3728 says, I charged $60. What do you think would a good price?
how long did it take you to do that? I mean that's in my opinion. Wait, is that done?
Richard Wyan 3728
Done.
says, done.
Um, so for that, I mean,
Richard Wyan 3728
tw
says,
20 hours.
20 hours or Pilesard says, taking breaks is for the weak. Richard Wyan 3728 says, I am pretty new to it.
So 60 is not. I would have done more. I would have done like for you like 150, but because that's quite a bit of your time. But it doesn't look finished. It looks a little bit but it's well done. And so I would say going forward, spend more time on your work and get it to a better point. And maybe if it's commission, you got to get it done within the allotted time, however long you have. But you have potential, and I would be getting projects like on the side, just things you want to do, and spending a lot of time on them, like 70 hours, 80 hours on each one, and pushing it because you'll get quicker with it as you go. But you got to slow yourself down because you have the potential to do this stuff, but there's things you need to correct. And to do that, you're going to have to give yourself a lot of time and develop your patience. And so, like I said, once you get those things, then you're able to do them quicker. But that takes some time. And then you can start charging some more money for it. Because you want to respect your time, but you also don't want to make like the painting was good, but the colors weren't great. And um, like some of the proportions were off. And it looks unfinished, even though you did 20 hours, but you're new to it. So I think $60 is okay. I would have gone up to probably maybe like I never change it, but like you could have gone like 150 would have been fair for. I mean, that's talking about like essentially a week and a half of work, you know. So if you're working on it like 3 hours a day, that's a full week, and then like a day or two after.
Another person in line E8G says, $60 great Odin's beard, that's a lot of Subway money. Richard Wyan 3728 says, right.
Yeah,
Richard Wyan 3728 says, sounds good.
and the other thing is that people respect art when it's a little bit more expensive, but not when it's overly expensive. So you have to like if you undersell it, it makes them think it's not as good as it is, even if they can see it with their own eyes. You know. But like I said, if you're like a beginner, you don't want to overcharge, um, even if it takes a long time, because some of that time is just you having to learn this stuff, and you can't always charge your client for that. Sometimes it's on us. Like for example, I'm doing a painting right now, a landscape painting. I'm choosing to take my time on it so that I learn some things that I have, like I'm experimenting with it, but I'm not going to charge my client for it because I'm getting stuff out of it. It would be unfair to him to charge him for something that I'm doing because I don't have my shit together with it, right? Um, So, like, you want it to be a fair price, obviously, not overcharge. But I think 60 was a little low, personally, for a painting like that, because it wasn't like a horrible painting, you know. And 150 for a portrait painting is nothing. Like, they get up to, like, a couple $1,000 when they're done right. So like 150 is like a sketch. People need to understand that. Anyway, guys, I gotta run. Y'all have a very nice weekend. We got the stream running this week, TTS up, so I'm really happy about. And yeah, bar drawings, just great, wonderful. All right, y'all are awesome. I'll see you.
Grasshopper 70 says. Thanks for the stream.
Anytime, Grasshopper.